My wife's friend manipulated her into destroying my life with false abuse allegations because I wouldn't go vegan. A year later, she's on my porch, begging me to protect her from that same friend. When me and my wife first met, I wanted her to eat my meat for the rest of my life. You see, our first date was in a steakhouse, and it was there that we discovered the art of steak tasting. Sounds weird, I know, but it was a pretty fancy steakhouse, one where the waiter brings out a plate of samples to try before you order. Really bougie. And for some reason, it was our poop. So much so that the very next day, we planned a home steak tasting night. I bought different cuts and blindfolded her, and she had to guess what part of the cow each piece was from. Looking back, maybe we were a little overly obsessed, but I never thought it would be a cause for divorce. But then one day she told me she wanted to go to a Pilates class. Cool. Until she made a new friend, because that friend was Evelyn. At first I was extremely surprised because Lauren was usually the introverted type, the type to stay quiet in a room full of chatterboxes. But this also meant I was extremely happy for her. She told me that Evelyn had an amazing figure, and she wanted to start working out with her. So I reminded her that I'd love her the exact same regardless, and that was that. Or so I thought. Over the next few days, my beloved wife turned into a complete effing psycho. I was munching on a ribeye steak in the living room when my wife walked in with her pink leggings set that she bought on Pinterest. Did you know a plant-based diet can reduce greenhouse gas emissions by up to 90%? Her tone was sharp, cold. I almost choked from how hard I was laughing, until I realized that she was not joking. She then continued to tell me Evelyn was teaching her about a new way of living, and we ought to be more like her. Honey, I support you in whatever you do, but I'm gonna keep eating meat. I expected her to be her usual supportive self, or even just nod, but instead she grinned, like I had just challenged her or something. The next morning, when I groggily woke up to get my daily dose of AI brain rot reels on Instagram, my eyes widened, because my entire homepage was filled with PETA propaganda. I then realized Lauren must have gone onto my phone while I slept, because she had unfollowed everyone I knew, including my family members, and replaced them all with vegan pages instead. Lauren had always been a pretty impressionable, slightly people-pleasing woman, but I always thought that I would be able to protect her from anyone who tried to take advantage of that. Apparently I was wrong, but instead of waking Lauren up to talk, I kissed her on the forehead and headed to work, because the last thing I wanted was for Evelyn to put a rift between us. I didn't bring it up again until I returned home that evening. Honey, I know you're going through a lot of change right now, but I'd appreciate it if you respected my choice to not— "Oh, so now I'm the bad guy," she interrupted. "Can't you see I'm literally trying to save your life? A plant-based diet makes it 5 times more likely to live till 100. So I did what I always do when Lauren acts a little wild. I grabbed her hand, looked her in the eyes, and reminded her that it was us versus the problem. But this time it didn't work. She pushed me off and muttered, "Evelyn was right about you," under her breath before heading to bed. Like, what the F? Over the next few weeks, I had come home to hundreds of dollars worth of fine-cut steaks thrown out, my entire BBQ set sold online for $10, and PETA posters covering every wall of our once loving home. One night, as I lay awake in bed, I turned over to face the figurine Lauren bought of a pig being hung at a butcher. That was my breaking point. I told her we needed to divorce. "You're right," she said. "I can't be with the unaliver." Luckily, it was dark enough that I could roll my eyes without her noticing. It was a 4-week process, one where she ended up spending all her free time with Evelyn. It was during this time that Evelyn got a boyfriend, a non-vegan, meat-loving man. Go figure. The reason I knew this was because I followed her on social media, and she was plastering them everywhere with photos of them barbecuing and eating ribs together. That's when Lauren called me. She was crying and told me she was sorry for being so brainwashed. But at that point, I was already done with women as a whole, and was pretty much ready to spend the rest of my life as a single man with a fridge full of steaks to keep me company. So I politely declined her offer to get back together. I was honestly ready to never hear from Lauren again, but apparently she had other plans, because the next morning, I woke up to someone banging on the door. It wasn't Lauren, it was my mother.